The great chamber of the galactic convergence was silent in a way that felt heavy, like space itself was holding its breath. Stars could be seen through the vast, transparent ceiling, distant and cold, watching what would happen next. Thousands of seats circled the center platform, occupied by beings from every known corner of the galaxy. Some were tall and radiant, others small and hidden behind mechanical frames, but all of them were focused on the same place. At the center stood the alien queen. She was older than many civilizations. Her form was tall and elegant, covered in living armor that shimmered like liquid crystal. Her eyes glowed with a calm authority that had ended wars without a single shot. When she spoke, empires listened. When she judged, worlds changed forever. Across from her stood a small group of humans. They looked ordinary compared to the others. No glowing skin, no extra limbs, no natural weapons. Just men and women in simple dark uniforms, standing straight, hands relaxed at their sides. At their front was Ambassador Elias Ward, a middle-aged man with tired eyes and a calm face. He had spoken before kings, warlords, and machines that claimed to be gods. Still, this moment carried a weight unlike any other. The Queen's voice echoed through the chamber, translated instantly into every known language. "This is your last chance," she said. The words were not loud, but they carried power. They were the same words she had spoken to dozens of civilizations before humanity. None of those civilizations existed anymore as independent powers. "You have resisted longer than expected," the Queen continued. "Your species has shown creativity, stubbornness, and an unusual tolerance for loss. But resistance does not change the outcome." She raised one elegant hand, and a hologram appeared in the air. It showed human worlds, Earth, Mars, distant colonies, surrounded by alien fleets. Lines of red marked blockades. Numbers scrolled beside them, counting ships, weapons, and time. "You will surrender control of your interstellar infrastructure," the Queen said. "Your military assets will be dismantled. Your worlds will be governed under imperial law. In return, your species will survive." A pause followed. "If you refuse," she said calmly, "your systems will be sterilized. Your history will end." Around the chamber, representatives shifted in their seats. Some watched with curiosity, others with boredom, a few with pity. This was a familiar scene to them, a young species reaching the edge of its limits, standing before something far older and stronger. The Queen looked directly at Ambassador Ward. "Speak," she said. Ward took a slow breath. He did not rush. He did not bow. He simply nodded once, acknowledging that he had been given the floor. "Your Majesty," he said, his voice steady. "We understand your offer." "Open. We understand your offer." The Queen studied him carefully. Humans always reacted differently. Some cried. Some shouted. Some tried to negotiate. This one did none of those things. "We recognize the power of your empire," Ward continued. "We recognize the danger we are in." Still no fear in his voice. "But we cannot accept your terms." A ripple moved through the chamber. Soft sounds of surprise, translated murmurs, subtle movements. Refusal was not rare, but it was usually emotional. This sounded measured. The Queen's eyes narrowed slightly. "You are choosing extinction," she said. Ward shook his head gently. "No," he replied. "We are choosing to remain human." For the first time, something like confusion touched the Queen's expression. "Explain," she said. Ward clasped his hands behind his back, pacing slowly across the small platform allotted to the human delegation. "When our species first left our home planet," he said, "we believed survival meant becoming stronger than everyone else. Faster ships, bigger weapons, better armor." He looked around the chamber, meeting alien gazes without challenge or submission. "We were wrong." The Queen listened, silent. "We learned," Ward continued, "that there will always be someone stronger, someone older, someone with more ships." He stopped pacing and faced the Queen again. "So we changed what survival meant to us. One of the alien delegates let out a soft clicking sound, the equivalent of laughter. The Queen raised a finger, silencing the chamber. "You are delaying," she said. "The outcome does not change." Ward nodded. "We know," he said. "That is why we ask for one final request." On. 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 The Queen tilted her head slightly. "You wish to beg for mercy?" "No," Ward replied. "We request a single transmission window to our home system. A message of closure." Silence returned, deeper than before. Several alien representatives leaned toward one another, whispering. A final message was common. A species saying goodbye to itself before the end. There was no threat in it. The Queen considered this. She had allowed such requests before. They changed nothing. "You will not use it to coordinate resistance," she said. "We couldn't, even if we wanted to," Ward answered honestly. "Your fleets have already cut our faster-than-light relays." The Queen studied the human delegation again. Their body language still bothered her. No shaking limbs, no raised voices. No signs of desperation. "How long?" she asked. "Do you require?" Ward did not answer immediately. He turned his head slightly, as if listening. One of the human delegates gave a subtle nod. 7 minutes, Ward said. A very specific number. The Queen's eyes flickered with interest. "You are precise, for a species facing extinction." Ward allowed himself a small, almost sad smile. "We like to finish things properly." Another pause. "Very well," the Queen said at last. 7 minutes. A soft chime echoed through the chamber as the transmission channel opened. A timer appeared in the air, counting down. 7 minutes. Ward stepped closer to the projection field. The image of Earth appeared blue, fragile, beautiful. Many in the chamber had never seen it before. He did not speak immediately. Back on Earth, billions watched the broadcast. They stood in homes, shelters, ships, and stations. They had known this moment might come. Humanity had prepared its people not with promises of victory, but with honesty. Ward finally spoke. "This is Ambassador Elias Ward," he said. "To everyone listening wherever you are." His voice was calm, but it carried emotion now. "We did our best." Across the galaxy, the Queen observed carefully. This was the moment she expected: tears. Apologies. Regret. But Ward continued. "We explored. We learned. We made mistakes. We lost worlds. We lost people." His voice hardened slightly. "But we did not lose who we are." The Queen leaned forward almost without realizing it. Ward's words were simple, almost plain, but they carried weight. "No matter what happens next," he said, "remember this. Humanity was never united by fear. We were united by choice. Behind the scenes, unseen by the chamber, systems across human space listened." Ward raised his head. "To every station, every ship, every colony," he said, "you know what to do." The Queen's eyes narrowed sharply. "What do you do?" she demanded. Ward looked back at her. "We survive," he said. The timer continued to count down. 5 minutes. The chamber was silent again, but now the silence felt different. Uneasy. Charged. For the first time in centuries, the alien Queen felt a sensation she had almost forgotten. Uncertainty. The transmission ended, but the silence it left behind was louder than any alarm. In the galactic convergence chamber, the alien Queen remained seated on her elevated throne. Her glowing eyes fixed on the empty projection field where Earth's image had been moments before. The 7-minute timer faded away, leaving nothing but quiet tension. Around her, representatives of ancient species shifted uneasily. Something about the human farewell had felt wrong. It had not sounded like surrender. The Queen straightened her posture. "End the channel," she ordered. "It has already closed, Your Majesty," replied one of her attendants. The Queen's gaze hardened. Humans were efficient with time. She did not like that. "Proceed with Phase 1 of compliance enforcement," she said. "Lock down all remaining human systems." "Yes, Your Majesty." Across the galaxy, alien fleets tightened their formations around human-controlled space. Energy screens strengthened. Weapon systems charged. Everything followed protocol, the same protocol that had worked on countless civilizations before. And yet, reports began to arrive. At first, they seemed unimportant. A patrol commander near the edge of human territory reported that several unarmed mining stations had gone dark at the exact moment the human transmission ended. Not destroyed. Simply, offline. Another report followed. A trade route monitoring buoy detected unusual power fluctuations from civilian cargo ships. Vessels that had been inspected and cleared months earlier. The Queen listened as the information streamed in, her expression unreadable. "Explain," she said calmly. A tall, thin strategist stepped forward. "It may be panic behavior, Your Majesty. The humans are shutting down systems to avoid seizure." The Queen considered this. It was reasonable. Many species attempted to hide or preserve what they could at the end. "Continue monitoring," she said. Far from the chamber, beyond the reach of alien attention, human space was changing. On an old orbital station once used to repair satellites, an automated system woke from dormancy. Its processors had not been active in years. A simple instruction triggered its return. If signal received, begin Protocol Atlas. The station rerouted power from non-essential systems. Its outer panels shifted position, revealing structures that had once been dismissed as reinforcement frames. They were not weapons. They were something else. Across dozens of human colonies, similar systems came online. On a barren moon, a group of engineers stood inside a control room, watching status lights turn green one by one. They did not cheer. They did not speak much. They simply nodded, each person knowing their role. "Local network stable," one of them said. "External sensors?" another asked. "Passive only," came the reply. Just like planned, they had built these systems quietly, over decades. Always civilian on the surface. Always useful for something harmless. Power distribution. Navigation support. Data storage. Nothing that violated interstellar law. Nothing that looked like a weapon. Back in the convergence chamber, the Queen listened to another report. "Your Majesty," said a fleet overseer. "Human military channels remain silent." "Your Majesty." "Expected," the Queen replied. They know resistance is futile, yet something still bothered her. "Activate deep scans," she ordered. "I want full analysis of all human infrastructure. No assumptions." The overseer hesitated. "Your Majesty, the resource cost." "Do it," the Queen said, her voice sharp. The scans began. What they revealed was confusing. Human space did not show the clear hierarchy common to most civilizations. There was no central command node. No single capital system controlling everything. Power generation, communications, logistics, all were spread out, overlapping, redundant. The Queen leaned forward as data streamed before her. "They are inefficient," one advisor said. "So many backups." "No," the Queen replied quietly. "They are resilient." A memory stirred within her mind. Long ago, before she had become queen, her own species had nearly gone extinct from a single decisive strike. From that moment on, her people had centralized everything to prevent chaos. Humans had done the opposite. Another alert sounded. "Your Majesty," an analyst said, "we are detecting synchronized system changes across human-controlled space. Not communication signals, timed activations." The Queen's eyes narrowed. "Timed to what?" The analyst checked the data again. "To the end of the human ambassador's transmission." The Queen rose slowly from her throne. "Show me," she said. A new hologram filled the chamber. It displayed human territory from above. One by one, small points of light appeared. Not weapons fire, not ship launches, but power signatures. Thousands of them. "What are they?" the Queen asked. "We don't know," the analyst admitted. "They match no known military profile." The Queen felt a strange sensation ripple through her thoughts. Irritation. Yes, but also something else. Interest. On a distant human freighter drifting near an alien blockade, the ship's captain floated calmly in the cockpit. His crew watched as hidden panels slid open along the hull, exposing sensor arrays far more advanced than anything the ship's manifest listed. "Protocol Atlas confirmed," the ship's AI said. "Network integration complete." Quote, the captain exhaled slowly. About time, he murmured. The freighter did not fire a weapon. It did not move aggressively. Instead, it began transmitting data, massive amounts of it, into the void. Not toward Earth. Not toward a fleet. Toward everything. Human systems were sharing information. Not orders. Not commands. Experience. In the convergence chamber, the Queen clenched one clawed hand. They are building a distributed intelligence, she realized. A shared awareness. An advisor looked confused. To what end? Your Majesty. They cannot fight us with data. The Queen did not answer immediately. She remembered the human ambassador's words. We like to finish things properly. Another report arrived. This one more troubling. Your Majesty. Several human vessels have altered their internal configurations. Structural changes detected. Ace. Combat vessels? She asked. No, the officer replied. Civilian ships, cargo haulers, rescue craft. The Queen stared at the display. Humans were not mobilizing an army. They were mobilizing everything. On Earth, deep beneath the surface of an old city, a council room lit up. Not a government council. Not a military command. A coordination hub. Men and women of different ages and backgrounds appeared on screens. Scientists. Engineers. Pilots. Farmers. Teachers. Many had never met in person. No one gave speeches. A simple message appeared in the center of the room. Status? Replies came in quickly. Stable. Ready. Connected. Holding. One message appeared last. Learning. The people exchanged small smiles. Back in the chamber, the Queen turned to her strategists. Advance the fleets, she commanded. Begin system seizures. Yes, Your Majesty. The alien armadas moved forward, confident in their strength. As they did, something unexpected happened. Human systems did not resist. They adjusted. Energy flows shifted away from targeted areas. Data rerouted around blockades. Automated platforms detached from known locations and drifted into patterns that made no immediate sense. It's like trying to hold water, one alien commander reported. Every time we apply pressure, it moves somewhere else. The Queen's expression darkened. This is not rebellion, she said slowly. This is adaptation. For the first time since her rise to power, the Queen realized she was not facing a species trying to win a war. She was facing a species trying to endure one. And endurance, she knew from long experience, was far more dangerous than strength. As more data flowed in, one truth became impossible to ignore. Humanity had never planned to defeat the galaxy. They had planned to survive it. And as the Queen looked out at the stars beyond the chamber ceiling, she felt a quiet, unwelcome thought form in her mind. This was not the beginning of the end. This was the end of the beginning. The first clashes did not look like battles. When the alien fleets moved deeper into human-controlled space, they expected resistance points, defensive lines, or desperate counterattacks. Instead, they found motion without focus. Human ships scattered, regrouped, then scattered again. Stations powered down and drifted from their orbits. Mining platforms detached and vanished into debris fields. Alien commanders were confused. Why do they run? One asked. They are not defending anything. They are buying time. Another replied. Time, however, was something the Queen believed she controlled. Engage, she ordered. Force contact. Break their rhythm. Alien ships surged forward, their formations precise and overwhelming. They targeted human vessels that lagged behind, cutting off escape routes with calculated efficiency. The first human ships were disabled quickly. Energy systems failed. Hulls breached. Crews evacuated or were taken into custody. Reports of success flowed back to the Queen. Human losses increasing, an officer said. Minimal resistance. Yet even as the words were spoken, new data appeared. Your Majesty. Another analyst interrupted. Human ships are altering behavior. After each engagement, the Queen turned her attention fully to the display. What kind of alteration? She asked. They are learning, the analyst said carefully. Weapon frequencies adjusted, shield timings modified. Maneuvers changed. They are responding faster each time. The Queen's eyes narrowed. Most species adapted between wars, not during them. On a damaged human escort ship drifting near an asteroid cluster, Captain Mira Chen floated in the dim light of the bridge. Emergency systems hummed quietly. Half the displays were dark, but the ones still active showed something important. Data. Send everything, she said calmly. Even the mistakes. Her ship's AI complied, compressing combat telemetry and transmitting it through narrow, low-energy channels. The signal was weak, almost invisible among the background noise of space, but it reached its destination. Everywhere. Other human ships received it. Stations received it. Even old probes drifting between stars caught fragments of it and relayed them onward. Within minutes, updated behavioral models spread across the human network. The next human ship to encounter alien forces reacted differently. It did not charge. It did not flee blindly. It rotated its damaged side away from incoming fire, adjusted its power flow, and slipped through a gap that should not have existed. The alien commander watching the engagement felt a flicker of unease. "That maneuver," he said. "They did not attempt that before. They could not have known it would work," his tactical officer replied. "They know now," the commander said. Back in the convergence chamber, the Queen listened as the pattern became clear. Each human defeat sharpened the survivors. "They accept loss too easily," one advisor said. "They throw away ships." "No," the Queen replied. "They invest them." She rose from her throne and walked slowly across the chamber floor, her attendants parting before her. "They are not fighting to protect territory," she said. "They are fighting to gather understanding." The Queen stopped before a hologram showing overlapping combat zones. "Understanding is dangerous," she continued. "It cannot be destroyed." She turned sharply. "Escalate," she commanded. "No more limited engagements. Apply overwhelming force." The order rippled outward. Alien fleets intensified their attacks, striking multiple systems at once. Human losses increased rapidly. Entire stations were disabled. Convoys were intercepted. The galaxy watched, many believing the end had finally come. But something unexpected happened. Human morale did not collapse. On Earth, news feeds did not hide the truth. Ships lost. Colonies damaged. People displaced. The information was shared openly, paired with one consistent message: still here, still moving, still learning. In a small settlement on a distant ice world, a teacher stood before a group of children as the sky above flickered with distant flashes of light. She did not panic. She did not lie. "We may have to leave," she said gently. "But remember this place. What we built here matters." A child raised a hand. "Will we lose?" the child asked. The teacher smiled softly. "We will change," she replied. "And sometimes that's better." Elsewhere, a captured alien officer sat inside a human detention module. He expected interrogation, fear, perhaps cruelty. Instead, he was given food, medical attention, and a quiet space. A human officer sat across from him, not threatening, not demanding. "You don't hate us?" the alien asked, confused. The human shook his head. "We don't have time for that." "Then why do you fight?" the alien asked. The human thought for a moment. "Because stopping means disappearing," he said. "And we like being here." The alien did not understand, but he remembered the words. In the convergence chamber, the Queen received another troubling report. "Your Majesty, human vessels are remaining operational beyond expected damage thresholds." "How?" she asked. "They reroute systems manually. They shut down entire sections to keep others alive. Their crews operate even without central command." The Queen's thoughts turned inward. Her own fleets relied on perfection, on coordination, on flawless execution. Humans relied on something messier: choice. On the battlefield near a shattered moon, an alien cruiser targeted a human frigate already trailing debris. The frigate should have been dead. Instead, it turned toward the cruiser. "Why would they approach?" the alien gunner asked. The answer came moments later. The frigate detonated its remaining propulsion core, not as a weapon, but as a blinding surge of radiation that overloaded alien sensors. The explosion was contained, controlled, just enough. The alien cruiser drifted, blinded, and powerless. Human ships passed it by without firing. The data from that moment spread instantly through the human network. Back in the chamber, the Queen closed her eyes briefly. "They are turning weakness into tools," she said. A senior strategist spoke hesitantly. "Your Majesty, some of our commanders are requesting withdrawal from prolonged engagements. The humans are unpredictable." The Queen's eyes snapped open. "Denied," she said. "We do not retreat from inferiors." But even as she spoke, another realization formed. Inferior species did not force empires to reconsider tactics. As the conflict dragged on, human space became something alien commanders dreaded entering. Not because of overwhelming firepower, but because nothing behaved as expected. Supply lines vanished. Ambushes appeared where logic said none should exist. Human ships fought when damaged, retreated when strong, and returned when least expected. There was no pattern until one looked closer. Then the pattern became clear. Humans optimized for survival, not victory. The Queen stood alone near the chamber's star window, watching distant fleets maneuver. For the first time in her long life, she felt something unfamiliar. Respect, not admiration. Not fear. Recognition. She had built an empire to last forever through control. Humans were building a future through change. As another wave of reports arrived, more losses on both sides, more human adaptation, the Queen understood a truth she had avoided. This war would not end quickly, and for the first time, she wondered not whether humanity could be destroyed, but whether the cost of doing so would be greater than her empire could afford. The war reached a point where numbers stopped making sense. Alien fleets still outmatched humanity in size, technology, and raw firepower. That truth had not changed. What had changed was the meaning of control. Systems taken by force did not stay quiet. Routes declared secure became uncertain again. Every advance carried hidden costs. The alien Queen stood before a wide tactical display, watching symbols shift slowly across the stars. Red and blue markers overlapped in messy patterns. This was not how wars were supposed to look. "Status," she said. A fleet commander answered, his voice careful. "We have surrounded the human core regions. Their remaining ships are scattered. Logically, they should be exhausted." "And?" the Queen asked. "And they are still operating," he admitted. "Even damaged units. Even isolated ones." The Queen dismissed the display with a flick of her hand. "Bring me the human ambassador," she said. Ambassador Elias Ward was escorted into a quiet chamber aboard the Queen's flagship. There were no restraints, no guards pointing weapons at him. The Queen had ordered it so. Ward looked tired now. Not afraid, but worn. His uniform showed signs of long use. Still, his eyes were clear. "You wish to speak," he said calmly. The Queen studied him for a long moment. "You said we had the last chance," she said. "Explain." Ward nodded slightly. "We hoped you would see it before this point." "You are losing," the Queen said bluntly. Ward did not argue. "Yes," he replied. "By traditional measures." "Then why continue?" she asked. "Why sacrifice so much when the outcome is clear?" Ward looked away for a moment, as if choosing his words carefully. "Because stopping would teach us the wrong lesson," he said. The Queen tilted her head. "Explain." "If we stop because we are weaker," Ward said, "then weakness becomes our definition. But if we continue because survival matters, then no one gets to decide when we're finished except us." The Queen felt something tighten within her chest. She had heard many philosophies over the ages. None quite like this. "You are willing to let your species suffer endlessly," she said, "for pride." Ward shook his head. "Not pride, continuity." The Queen dismissed him with a gesture. "You may go." As Ward was led away, the Queen remained alone. For the first time, she reviewed the war not as a ruler, but as a thinker. Her empire was built on certainty, on endings, on making sure conflicts concluded decisively. Humanity refused that structure. They stretched the war, reshaped it, made it something that could not be neatly finished, and that was dangerous. Days later, a critical moment arrived. A massive alien task force surrounded a cluster of human vessels near a dying star. The humans were trapped. No clear escape. No reinforcements. "This is it," one alien commander reported. "We end this here." The Queen watched silently. The alien fleet advanced, weapons ready. The human ships did not flee. They slowed. They spread out. And then, instead of attacking, they transmitted. Not a surrender. Data, navigation paths through unstable space. Power management techniques. Emergency survival protocols. Messages tagged for any receiver, human or not. The alien commanders hesitated. "What are they doing?" one asked. The answer came too late. The dying star flared violently. Radiation surged through the system. Alien shields failed under unexpected frequencies. Human ships, already adapted from earlier losses, slipped through the chaos using paths no one else had calculated. When the flare faded, the humans were gone. The alien fleet was damaged, scattered, and stunned. That moment echoed across the galaxy. The Queen closed her eyes. "They are not trying to win battles," she whispered. "They are rewriting the rules." Soon after, reports arrived from neutral species. Trade routes avoided imperial space. Independent worlds began adopting human-style systems. Decentralized power. Shared knowledge. Flexible command. Humanity's influence was spreading not through conquest, but example. That was when the Queen understood the true danger. If this continued, her empire would not fall to weapons. It would become irrelevant. She summoned her council. "This war must end," she said. Murmurs spread. "On what terms?" a counselor asked. The Queen was silent for a long moment. "On equal terms," she finally said. The council was shocked. "Your Majesty," one protested. "They are inferior. They are persistent," the Queen replied. And persistence reshapes history. A message was sent across the stars. A ceasefire request. When it reached human space, the reaction was cautious. No celebrations. No trust. Ambassador Ward was contacted again. "This is your last chance," the Queen said during their final exchange. Ward listened carefully. "Not to surrender," she continued, "but to choose coexistence. End this war. Remain independent. No tribute. No control." Ward studied her face. "And if we refuse?" he asked. "Then the war continues," the Queen said honestly. "And neither of us truly wins." Ward nodded slowly. He transmitted one final message across human space. Not an order, a question. Within hours, the response came back. Humanity chose to stop not because it was forced, but because it could. The ceasefire held. Alien fleets withdrew. Human systems stabilized. The galaxy watched as something new formed. Not an empire, not a rebellion, but a balance. On the steps of the galactic convergence, the Queen and the human ambassador stood side by side, looking out at the stars. "You changed the galaxy," the Queen said quietly. Ward shook his head. "We just refused to disappear." The Queen looked at him, then at the endless stars beyond. For the first time, she smiled. And across the galaxy, a new truth spread, simple, quiet, and impossible to ignore. Humanity was not the strongest. Humanity was not the oldest. But humanity endured, and in the long story of the universe, that mattered more than anything else.